For our final throwdown of the week, we welcome back two veterans. Jacob Jaffe, editor of ruleoftree.com. You know him, you love him, you probably met him in a dark alley somewhere. His opponent, Matt Takimoto from addictedtoquack.com, representing Oregon. He's clearly let himself go. Where's the bow tie? Inquiring minds want to know. Fellas, you know the deal. The preseason is over. Your records will now count. Let's put 30 seconds on the clock. Let's get it on.
All right, fellas, let's start it off with the quarterbacks. Most important position on the field. Jacob, Marcus Mariota is having a killer year. Is Stanford going to be able to do anything defensively to slow him down?
I think they will be able to. I think when you look at Mariota, he's had an unbelievable year for a freshman, but when he's gone up against good pass defenses, he hasn't put up the same kind of numbers. He's faced 3 of the top 30 pass defenses efficiency-wise in the country. Hasn't even put up 200 yards in any of those games. Stanford comes in number 1 in sacks, number 1 in tackles for loss. I think they're going to hit him a few too many times on Saturday.
Now, Matt, is Marcus Mariota going to continue his ways? He's leading the country in passer efficiency against the Stanford defense?
Yeah, the short answer is yes. Mariota having clearly a remarkable year, and he's really been able to prove himself as versatile. Against USC, when the running game was going really well, he was hyper-efficient, going 20 of 23 passing, adding in 96 yards on the ground. A week later against Cal, they dropped both safeties into the box to stack up against the run. He threw for 377 yards and 6 touchdowns. So no matter how you set your defense, Mariota's going to find the holes, and he's going to find ways to break you.
All right, well, Jacob, there's no question Oregon is going to get their points, but how important is it for Stephen Taylor to get rolling early? They establish the run game, control the line of scrimmage.
I think it's huge. If he can't run, Stanford's got no chance. But when he does run well, the games that he has at least 4 yards per carry, Stanford is undefeated, 7-0, and he scored a touchdown in every single one of those games. The games that he's held without a touchdown, Stanford's lost 2 out of 3 and played terribly against Washington State. So if he can run, Stanford's got a good chance. And the way Oregon's run defense is looking all banged up on the defensive line, he's got a good chance to put up some yards on Saturday.
All right, Matt, should Oregon be concerned about Stephen eating up the clock and keeping the Ducks' offense off the field, basically playing defense on offense?
You know, I don't think there's any doubt that Stephen Taylor is going to be the focal point of their offensive game plan. And the Oregon defensive line is banged up, missing some guys, although we're going to get a couple of defensive linemen back for this week's game. But more importantly, it's not as though you can run 5.5 minutes off the clock and not have the Oregon offense score points. You have to put up points of your own. So if Stanford runs a 5.5-minute drive and gets a field goal, they have failed. They have to get 7s if they want to win this game. And I think Oregon's defense has been stingy in the red zone, doing a good job of holding to 3s and forcing turnovers.
Solid point. Now, will Barner and Thomas be able to put up those type of points and penetrate a defense that gives up only 58 yards per game on the ground?
You know, I think they will be able to, but the question is, will they have to? We saw last week with Cal what happens when a team stacks the box and forces Mariota to throw. They give up 59 points. So even if Barner and Thomas aren't getting those yards, Mariota and the bevy of wide receivers that Oregon has still have the talent to put up a lot of points. That being said, also, Stanford's defense has not been good against spread teams. Case in point, Arizona getting 48 points. And I don't think David Shaw can out-scheme Chip Kelly, especially in the second half.
Jacob, Stanford's defense obviously going to have their hands full with all those Oregon weapons coming at them. How can they contain them all?
Well, I think contain may be the wrong word. It's what most people use. But I don't think Stanford can try to keep Oregon to 4 or 5 yards on its run play. Stanford needs to get into the backfield to have a chance. And Stanford's done that all this year, leading the nation in tackles for loss. But once Oregon gets to the second level, you know these guys are going to be gone. So Stanford needs to get negative plays, try to force some turnovers to have a good chance against Oregon.
All right, Matt, we heard in the offseason that Stanford was going to huddle at the end of practice and chant, "Beat the Ducks." This is shameful. Is your team going to use this as motivation?
No, honestly, they're not. Chip Kelly's program has always preached every week they're facing a nameless, faceless opponent. Every week is a new Super Bowl for them. And really, even in this era of media overload, which is very hard to, deny who you're playing on Saturday, the team has bought into that and has been able to, eliminate outside distractions, really focus on the game plan, and be who they want to be. And it's brought them to heights that have not been seen in Eugene in football history.
Matt, I feel confident enough in saying you pick your Ducks to win the game, correct?
I do. I think that, Stanford will be able to put up some points on what is a banged-up Oregon defense, but I think the Ducks take this one. I'll say 49-24.
Jacob, what do you got for me? Final score. You winning?
I can't say with a whole lot of confidence, but I got to go with my Stanford Cardinal. I'll take Stanford 35-34. It would take a game like that. If Oregon gets it up in the 40s or higher, Stanford's not going to have a chance. But this best Stanford defense maybe ever. I think they can limit Oregon to some extent, and maybe against that banged-up defense, get just enough to pull out the
Jacob doesn't even believe what he's saying. You see him rocking back and forth in the chair. He can't even stand still. Jacob, I'm going to give you a chance to win this. Quick word association. What is the best reason to go to Eugene, Oregon?
If you want to smoke pot, you can go up the road to Seattle, I guess.
That was not bad. Matt, Palo Alto, best reason to go?
You can only get in there if you got a trust fund, so it's invitation only.
Ooh. Oh, that was pretty good.
Solid. I don't know. Matt let himself go. He didn't wear the bow tie. He didn't shave. Jacob brought it, but he wasn't giving any confidence. Your call, man.
He put his integrity on. This is a tough one. Rob, I'm going to
Rob's
put
the tiebreaker.
Rob is the tiebreaker.
Huh? I'm going to give it to Matt.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. Well, we got to go through the motions.
Sorry,
I want to thank Jacob Jaffe of Rule of Tree, and also thank Matt Takimoto of AddictedToQuack.com, and new champion of the Blogger Throwdown. Thank you so much, fellas, for joining us.